You ever wonder why some people can forgive and forget, but others, those lone wolves, the ones who walk their own path, don't? Let me tell you something you might not have realized yet. Sigma males don't forgive easily. And no, it's not because we're petty or vindictive or holding on to grudges. It's because forgiveness for us isn't just a word. It's a currency, a rare one, something we don't give away for free. Let's start this journey by understanding one thing. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Society teaches you to forgive because it's the right thing to do. Let bygones be bygones, they say. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what does forgiveness really mean? Is it a gift to the person who wronged you? Or is it a way to unchain yourself from the weight of their actions? For most people, it's about letting go, moving on. But for Sigmas, it's different. Forgiveness, for us, is not a default reaction. It's not a knee-jerk response to conflict or betrayal. It's a calculated decision. And most of the time, we choose to do something else entirely. Think about it. When someone betrays you, lies to you, or disrespects you, they're not just crossing a line. They're showing their true nature. They're revealing a part of themselves that they've been hiding. And once you see that side of them, you can't unsee it. That's the thing about Sigma males. We don't ignore the signs. We don't pretend like it didn't happen. We don't sweep it under the rug. Instead, we analyze it. We dissect it. We try to understand why this person did what they did. And in that process, something powerful happens. We detach.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. When most people think of detachment, they think of it as indifference. But for us, detachment is a superpower. It's the ability to see things clearly without the fog of emotions clouding our judgment. When someone wrongs us, we don't react impulsively. We don't shout or cry or demand an apology. We step back. We observe. And in that moment, we make a decision, not about forgiveness, but about boundaries. You see, forgiveness, in the traditional sense, often comes with an unspoken expectation. If you forgive someone, you're supposed to let them back into your life. You're supposed to trust them again. But Sigma males don't play by those rules. We understand that trust, once broken, is like a shattered mirror. You can try to piece it back together, but it will never reflect the same way again. So instead of forgiving and forgetting, we do something much more powerful. We recalibrate. Recalibration is a concept not many people talk about, but it's something every Sigma male instinctively understands. When someone shows us who they really are, we don't try to change them. We don't try to fix them. We accept them for who they are, but we also adjust our expectations. We recalibrate our relationship with them. If you were once a close friend, but you betrayed us, you might still be in our life, but in a completely different capacity. You're no longer in the inner circle. You're no longer someone we confide in. Instead, you're on the periphery, still visible, but no longer essential. And here's the kicker. This recalibration isn't done out of spite or anger. It's done out of self-respect. Sigma males value their energy, their time, and their peace of mind. We don't waste our resources on people who don't deserve them. So when someone wrongs us, we don't forgive them in the traditional sense. We forgive them in our own way, by letting go of the emotional attachment we once had to them, by freeing ourselves from the expectation that they will ever be different. And in doing so, we achieve something most people never do: true freedom. But let's get practical for a moment. How do we, as Sigma males, actually practice this in our daily lives? It starts with awareness. The moment someone wrongs you, pause. Don't react. Don't fire back with anger or hurt. Just observe. Notice how their actions make you feel. Notice the thoughts that arise, and then ask yourself, what does this reveal about them? What does it reveal about me? This process of self-reflection is crucial because it allows you to separate the action from the emotion. It allows you to see the situation for what it really is without getting caught up in the drama. Once you've gained that clarity, the next step is to decide how you want to proceed. Do you want to confront this person? Do you want to cut them out of your life entirely? Or do you want to recalibrate the relationship as we talked about earlier? There's no right or wrong answer here. The key is to make a decision that aligns with your values and your sense of self-respect. And once you've made that decision, stick to it. Don't second-guess yourself. Don't let guilt or societal pressure sway you. Remember, you're not responsible for anyone else's actions. You're only responsible for your own. Now, here's where the real power lies. Once you've let go of the emotional weight of the situation, you reclaim your energy. You stop giving your power away to the person who wronged you. You stop replaying the incident in your mind. You stop wasting time trying to figure out why they did what they did. Instead, you focus on yourself, on your goals, on your growth. And in doing so, you become unstoppable. But there's one more thing we need to talk about before we wrap up this part of the journey. The difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. Most people confuse the two, but they're not the same. Forgiveness is about letting go of resentment. Reconciliation is about restoring a relationship. And here's the truth. You can forgive someone without reconciling with them. You can let go of the anger and hurt without letting them back into your life. This distinction is critical because it gives you the freedom to move on without compromising your boundaries. So, the next time someone wrongs you, don't feel pressured to forgive them in the way society expects you to. Don't feel like you have to pretend everything is okay. Instead, take a step back, observe, recalibrate, and remember, forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. It's about protecting your peace, your energy, and your sense of self-worth. Now that we've laid the foundation, let's take this deeper. If you're still here, it means you resonate with what we've been talking about. And that's because you understand this isn't just about forgiveness or betrayal. It's about power, your personal power. The kind of power that comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you will or will not tolerate. Because, let's be honest, the world isn't kind to people who don't know their boundaries. And Sigma males, we don't just know our boundaries, we enforce them. Quietly, but firmly. And that's what makes us different. The thing about forgiveness, as it's commonly practiced, is that it often weakens people. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone forgive a betrayal, only to be betrayed again? How many people forgive, not because they want to, but because they feel obligated to? Society tells you to forgive to be the bigger person. But here's the hard truth. Forgiveness, in that sense, is often just another way of giving your power away. It's a way of saying, your actions don't have consequences. You can hurt me, and I'll still let you back in. And that's not strength. That's submission. For Sigma males, forgiveness isn't about submission. It's about evolution. We don't forgive to make the other person feel better. We forgive to free ourselves from their influence. And sometimes that means not forgiving at all, not in the traditional sense. Instead, we transform the pain into wisdom. We use it as fuel to sharpen our instincts, to strengthen our resolve, to grow. Because every betrayal, every slight, every moment of disrespect is a lesson if you're willing to learn from it. And that's exactly what we do. Here's how it works. When someone wrongs us, we don't dwell on the hurt. We don't replay the incident in our minds over and over like a broken record. That's what most people do. They get stuck in the loop of why me? How could they do this? I didn't deserve this. But that's a trap. It keeps you locked in the past, chained to the very person who hurt you. Sigma males, we break that chain. We ask a different question. What does this teach me? And in that moment, everything changes. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone you trust deeply betrays you. Maybe it's a friend who talks behind your back. Maybe it's a partner who breaks your trust. The first reaction for most people is pain, anger, sadness, and that's natural. But for Sigma males, those emotions are just the starting point. We don't stop there. We dive deeper. We ask ourselves, what does this reveal about them? What does this reveal about me? What can I learn from this experience? And in doing so, we extract the lesson. We take the power back. That's the thing about Sigma males. We don't waste time on things we can't control. You can't control what other people do. You can't control their choices, their actions, their betrayals. But you can control how you respond. And that response, it's everything. It's the difference between being a victim and being a victor. It's the difference between staying stuck in the past and moving forward with purpose. But let's get practical again. How exactly do we transform pain into power? It starts with acceptance. And I don't mean accepting the behavior or the betrayal. I mean accepting reality. When someone wrongs you, they're showing you who they are. Believe them. Don't make excuses for them. Don't try to change them. Just accept the truth of the situation. This acceptance is crucial because it allows you to see things as they are, not as you wish they were. And once you see clearly, you can make decisions based on reality, not illusion. The next step is to set boundaries. And this is where most people struggle. They think setting boundaries means confrontation, drama, cutting people off. But it doesn't have to be that way. For Sigma males, boundaries are quiet, subtle, but unbreakable. It's about deciding, internally, what you will and will not tolerate. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less. And once you've set those boundaries, you enforce them, not with words, but with actions. Here's an example. Let's say someone you trusted lies to you. You don't need to confront them, yell at them, or demand an apology. You simply adjust your behavior. You stop sharing personal information with them. You stop relying on them. You stop giving them access to the parts of you they don't deserve. And if they notice the change and ask about it, you can be honest or you can say nothing at all. The point is, you've made a decision to protect your energy and you're sticking to it. That's power. But there's one more element to this process that we need to talk about. Self-healing. Because here's the truth. Even Sigma males feel pain. Even we get hurt. The difference is we don't let that pain define us. We don't let it control us. Instead, we use it as an opportunity to grow. And that's where self-healing comes in. Self-healing isn't about ignoring the pain or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about facing it head-on and asking, what can I learn from this? It's about using the pain as a mirror to reflect on your own patterns, your own choices, your own growth. Maybe the betrayal showed you that you need to trust your instincts more. Maybe it revealed a blind spot in your judgment. Whatever it is, embrace it, learn from it, and then let it go. Because here's the ultimate truth about Sigma males and forgiveness. We don't forgive easily, not because we're bitter or unforgiving, but because we value ourselves too much to let just anyone back into our lives. We understand that forgiveness, in its purest form, is about freedom. Freedom from the past. Freedom from resentment. Freedom to focus on what truly matters, our own growth, our own purpose, our own path. And that's what sets us apart. We don't hold grudges. We don't seek revenge. We don't waste time on people who don't deserve it. Instead, we move forward, stronger, wiser, and more focused than ever. Because at the end of the day, the greatest power you can have is not the power to forgive, but the power to thrive despite what others have done to you. Now that we've explored the depths of why Sigma males don't forgive easily and how we transform betrayal into growth, let's take things even further. Because if you've made it this far, you're not just curious, you're committed to understanding what makes the Sigma mindset so powerful, so unique. And at the core of it all is a principle that most people overlook. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about reclaiming control over your own life. Here's the thing. Most people think forgiveness is about making peace with someone who hurt you. But that's only part of the story. True forgiveness, if and when we choose to give it, is about making peace with yourself. It's about creating closure, not for the other person, but for your own mental and emotional well-being. And sometimes that closure doesn't come from forgiving at all. It comes from something far more profound: acceptance and transcendence. Let's break that down. When someone betrays you, it's like they've created a wound. Most people try to heal that wound by getting the other person to acknowledge what they did, to apologize, to make amends. But here's the harsh reality. Not everyone will apologize. Not everyone will take responsibility for their actions. And if you're waiting for that apology to move on, you're giving them power over you. You're letting them control your healing process. Sigma males, we don't wait for apologies. We don't wait for closure. We create it ourselves. How? By embracing the power of self-sufficiency. One of the defining traits of a Sigma male is our ability to stand alone, to rely on ourselves to find strength in solitude. We don't need external validation to feel whole. And that includes validation from the people who've wronged us. When someone betrays us, we don't beg for explanations or apologies. We don't demand that they make things right. We simply accept what happened, learn from it, and move forward. Because at the end of the day, the only person responsible for your happiness, your peace, your growth is you. But here's where it gets really interesting. When you stop seeking forgiveness in the traditional sense, when you stop waiting for others to acknowledge their mistakes, something incredible happens. You become untouchable. Think about it. If you're no longer dependent on others for closure, for validation, for healing, then no one can hold power over you. They can hurt you. Yes, they can disappoint you, but they can't break you. Because your strength comes from within, not from external sources. And that's what makes Sigma males so rare, so misunderstood. Most people can't comprehend this level of independence, this ability to detach without becoming cold or bitter. But that's the key. Detachment isn't about shutting people out or numbing yourself to pain. It's about creating space to reflect, to understand, to grow. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't determined by how others treat you, but by how you treat yourself. Now, let's talk about the practical side of this. How do you actually implement this mindset in your life? How do you move from holding on to resentment to reclaiming your power? It starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing betrayal as something that diminishes you, see it as something that reveals the truth. Every betrayal, every disappointment, every moment of disrespect is a mirror. It shows you who the other person really is, but more importantly, it shows you who you are, how you respond to that mirror. That's where your power lies. For Sigma males, the response is always the same. We adapt, we recalibrate, we grow. If someone shows us they can't be trusted, we don't waste time trying to change them. We change our approach. We adjust our expectations. And in doing so, we eliminate the possibility of being hurt by them again. This isn't about building walls or shutting people out. It's about being strategic, intentional, and self-aware. It's about protecting your energy and investing it in the people and pursuits that truly matter. But let's go even deeper. There's another layer to this that most people never reach, the spiritual layer. Because forgiveness, at its highest level, isn't just about emotional freedom. It's about spiritual liberation. When you let go of resentment, when you stop holding on to the pain of what others have done to you, you free yourself to live fully in the present moment. You stop carrying the weight of the past. You stop letting your wounds define you. And in that state of freedom, you discover something extraordinary: peace. For Sigma males, peace is everything. It's our compass, our North Star. We don't chase validation, approval, or revenge. We chase peace. And that's why we don't forgive easily, because forgiveness, as it's commonly practiced, often disrupts our peace. It forces us to reconcile with people who've shown us they don't deserve a place in our lives. It pressures us to rebuild bridges that were burned for a reason. And we're not interested in that. We're interested in moving forward, not backward. But here's the paradox. When you let go of the need to forgive, when you stop forcing yourself to reconcile with the past, forgiveness often happens naturally. Not because you owe it to the other person, but because you owe it to yourself. You forgive, not to let them off the hook, but to unburden yourself. You forgive, not to restore the relationship, but to restore your own sense of peace. And in that moment, forgiveness becomes something sacred, something powerful, something that no one can take from you. So what's the takeaway here? It's simple. Forgiveness is a choice, not an obligation. It's a tool, not a rule. And for Sigma males, it's a tool we use sparingly, strategically, and wisely. We don't forgive easily because we don't play by society's rules. We don't forgive because it's expected of us. We forgive when and only when it serves our growth, our peace, our purpose. And when it doesn't, we let go, we move on, we thrive. And that's the ultimate Sigma mindset. It's not about holding grudges or seeking revenge. It's about rising above. It's about refusing to let the actions of others define you. It's about walking your own path, with or without the people who've wronged you. Because at the end of the day, the Sigma male doesn't just survive betrayal, we transcend it. We use it, we grow from it, and in the process we become stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than ever. So, the next time someone wrongs you, remember this. You don't owe them forgiveness. You don't owe them reconciliation. You owe yourself the freedom to move forward. The freedom to live your life on your own terms. The freedom to be the Sigma male you were born to be. And that's the real power.